You have a strictly finite number of vacation days and a hard cap on your budget. When you finally get the chance to travel, the pressure to plan a flawless trip is completely overwhelming. To cope with that pressure, we often outsource our decisions. We scroll through social media or heavily curated destination marketing campaigns and pick the spots that look the most photogenic. But an attraction that looks beautiful online might demand logistical hurdles you aren't prepared for. When your personal travel constraints collide with a high-maintenance destination, the result is immediate exhaustion and wasted money. This matrix shows exactly how that happens. We are measuring the money and time you spend on the vertical axis against the actual personal satisfaction you receive on the horizontal axis. If you choose your stops based entirely on generic hype, you almost always land in this upper left quadrant. You burn through your cash and your energy, and you get very little enjoyment in return. This is the mismatched itinerary. To avoid this trap, you must break down global attractions into 4 major categories. You need to know objectively what each environment will extract from you before you ever buy a ticket. Once you understand how these categories operate, you can build a trip that respects your specific tolerance for heavy crowds, exhausting logistics, and personal ethics. Treat every tourist attraction as a strategic investment of your personal capital. Evaluating them through this lens protects the actual value of your vacation time. The first category is natural attractions. These are naturally occurring environments, like beaches, caves, and mountains, that were not initially built by human hands. At one extreme of this category, destinations have aggressively developed the landscape. They pave roads right up to the water and surround the site with high-rise hotels to offer maximum immediate convenience. That convenience comes with severe trade-offs. Highly developed natural sites suffer from localized price inflation, complete loss of tranquility, and the chronic pressures of over-tourism. At the opposite extreme are secluded, untouched natural sites. These locations restrict motorized transport and commercial build-out, promising an authentic, pristine environmental experience. Look at the Galapagos Islands. Reaching these uncrowded shorelines rewards the traveler with a staggering level of isolation and natural beauty. But the barrier to entry is high. Pristine sites demand significant physical exertion, require a massive time investment just to reach them, and force you to sacrifice easy access to amenities like food and comfortable shelter. With natural attractions, you have to choose your friction. You can trade your personal comfort for pristine isolation, or you can accept heavy crowds in exchange for absolute convenience. The second category covers purpose-built and man-made attractions. These are structures and zones designed from scratch, specifically to capture tourist revenue. The value proposition here is guaranteed, weatherproof entertainment. These mega infrastructure projects concentrate a massive amount of activities into a tightly controlled area. The scale of mega resorts in places like Las Vegas is staggering. They are engineered to deliver constant stimulation and extreme density. The downside is that the experience is entirely manufactured. You will navigate heavy crowds in an environment completely detached from authentic local culture. This category also includes a highly controversial subgenre, wildlife tourism. Countless facilities promise rare, close proximity encounters with exotic animals. Booking these encounters places a massive ethical burden directly on the traveler. There is a very sharp divide between legitimate, rehabilitative animal sanctuaries and facilities built purely to exploit captive wildlife for cash. You cannot trust the marketing brochures. Choosing a wildlife attraction requires rigorous pre-trip vetting to guarantee your money isn't quietly funding animal abuse. Purpose-built attractions offer a high probability of guarantee edutainment, but they require you to be highly vigilant about crowd tolerance and ethical integrity. The third category is historical and cultural attractions. These are temples, castles, and ancient structures originally built for a specific societal purpose that now serve as tourist touchpoints. You visit these sites for deep educational insight. The primary return on your investment is a rich, contextual understanding of a destination's past. Navigating monuments like the Pyramids of Giza requires dedicated itinerary time. You must slow down to appreciate the scale you are looking at. This also includes dark tourism, like war remnant museums. Walking through these sites is emotionally draining and demands intense, self-guided intellectual engagement. If your goal is escapist relaxation, this will ruin your afternoon. The final category is sporting and events. This is the ephemeral premium of the travel industry, attractions that only exist for a few weeks or even a few hours. Traveling for an ad hoc festival or a global tournament yields a high-energy, completely shared cultural immersion that you cannot replicate on a random Tuesday. The sheer density of a world-class event like a carnival parade is incredible. The chaotic energy is exactly what people pay to experience. But the logistical penalties are severe. You are entirely dependent on rigid schedules. You will pay hyper-inflated costs for basic accommodation, and you will sit in unavoidable transit bottlenecks. Cultural and event-based attractions yield massive cultural capital. However, they actively punish travelers who lack the energy for intense, real-time logistical maneuvering. Every traveler has a different threshold for crowds, cost, and physical exertion. Finding the right attraction means matching its requirements to your current personal constraints. This persona scorecard maps your priorities directly against the 4 attraction categories to help identify which stops actually align with your resources. If you are a time-poor optimizer with a very short vacation, you should index heavily on purpose-built attractions and highly developed natural sites. You accept heavier crowds because it guarantees zero wasted transit time. If you are a conscious traveler, you must prioritize secluded natural sites and rigorously vetted cultural sanctuaries. You accept high physical friction and long hikes to secure your ethical peace of mind. If you are an experiential specialist, you build your trips entirely around fleeting sporting events and deep historical sites, willingly absorbing the inflated costs and dense crowds to secure the memory. But a critical caveat for the experiential specialist: because event tourism is so intense, you must deliberately pad your itinerary with empty days just to recover. Stop blindly copying generic social media itineraries. Before you book a flight, audit your budget. You ensure that every dollar and every day spent yields a genuine personal return on investment.